we are going to have a look at a tiny hotplate soldering station. It's called. A colleague of mine's got one of these, and I thought I would try one as well. It does require a quite powerful USB-C power adapter. It's 65 watts. This is the suggested one, I think, in the advert for this. I have been using this great big thing, but the little feet that it was on were just little metal feet, and it would slide around quite badly. Then I decided that I would, in my wisdom, rivet the plate to some bigger bars with some rubber feet, and it works well, except the heating element is so powerful the whole bloody thing heats up. So I really need some sort of handle. I should have insulated this with some silicone. Probably I can drill the rivets out and use it again, but it's not ideal, and it is quite bulky. So we're just going to have a look at this and just see if it might do the job. It's not quite big enough really for what I want it to do, but it might be okay. So we're going to have a look. It's absolutely tiny. It's hard to see how that is going to get hot enough, but the good thing is it has the plastic body and you know, insulation layers here. So we'll see. It's a USB-C. We have a little display on there, and let's have a look. See what size it is as far as my elements are concerned. Yeah, it's not the full width, but I mean that is pretty close. Yeah, so I think this might well do the job. Anyway, as I say, you do need a relatively powerful power supply, according to the advert for this anyway, so that's what I thought we would get as well. Any instructions with this? Interestingly, no instructions whatsoever. I have a sneaky feeling it is just up and down temperature with those buttons on the back. More instructions with the power supply. Okay, so let's see what we get. Well, we've got a useless EU adapter. It is pre-fitted with a UK adapter. Manufacturer Shenzhen. Yeah, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. UK representative is Prolinks Global Limited. Yeah, just an importer. So this will cover 5 volts, 9, 12, 15 and 20 volts, and 3 amps for all of them, apart from 20 volts where it decides it's going to produce 3.25 amps at 65 watts. So yeah, interesting. We have a nice looking braided cable of a pretty good length by the looks of it. So I'm just going to plug this in over here out the way. Don't see any lights on it, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah, actually that braided cable is quite chunky and not very flexible, but once it's in place it's probably not going to be an issue. Right, so it is in and on. Let's plug it in, see what happens. I can't see that myself, so I'll show you and then I'll have a look myself. So it says 20 volts, 220 degrees C, and looks like it is not heating up. It says shut on there. Let me just give you a close up if that's focused for you. So we have 30 degrees, 20 volts, 220. Let's press this button on the right. That is raising the temperature. So moving the buttons at the back raise the figure there, but how you actually get it to trigger, I don't know. Both together perhaps? Yeah, there we go. So it said shut off and now it's on heat. Christ, that's quick. Yeah. 55, 60. You can see how quick that's heating up. We will get our temperature temperature probe on it. Do a bit of weight on there really. Let's have a look. Don't want to take away from the heat. 126, 132. I'm reading off of my meter. 140. What it says on the front. Let's have a look. 146. Yeah, getting there. 220 I've got it set to. Don't know whether it'll actually struggle to get to that temperature or not. I've got a fan on. It's just blowing a little bit of cool air over me. Let's see what we've got now. 170. Yeah, it seems to be slowing right down. 180. Let's see if we can get that on there. What does it say it is? Yeah, I mean, it seems pretty accurate. Bit of smoke coming off it. Don't know whether you can see that or not. Just burning some residual grease and oils off. Now we're up to 207. It's hovering around that. 208. Just seems to be struggling to get those last few degrees out of it. Probably doesn't help the fan being on it. Well, I've got 210 to 11 on the meter. So what does it say? 215. It's pretty accurate. Yeah, almost up to 220. I think it will go higher. But 220 will certainly help. Let's see what it does if we dump some heat into something that's chucked on top. Oh yeah, Jesus Christ, straight through that ceramic. Normally I have gloves on, but I thought this would be a bit fiddly, so I decided not to bother. In fact, let's chuck that underneath there. God, that was hot. Well, I've got 192 on the probe under the element, so yeah, I think that's probably going to do the job. Damn sight easier than that bloody great big hot plate, and I can leave this running rather than heat it up between jobs. So I've got 205 on there. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, it's pretty much what it's displaying. So yeah, really bothered about those last few degrees, but we could raise it to 230 perhaps. Anyway, and then if we do want to turn it off, I think we just press both buttons again, and that goes, I think, to shut down, and that will start to cool down, and it certainly takes up a lot less footprint than the other plate I've been using. So we're going to give that a go, and we'll see how that performs. So yeah, it was not very expensive. Oh shit, that's still hot. Bloody hell. I'll leave the links to the adapter and this, but yeah, that looks like it may well be may well do the job. So anyway, quick look at that. Nothing too interesting. We do have some more videos coming. I've got a bit of a rant coming as well. Just going to see if I've got time to do the other videos today, but I wanted to get this one out of the way because I actually wanted to start using it tomorrow. So yeah, there we go. Hope that helps. Okay, been using this for the past week. My verdict is it is not for anything other than sort of DIY occasional use, in my opinion. There's a number of issues. Firstly, the temperature that this goes up to is 350 degrees, but if you look in the small print on the Amazon listing, it will tell you that the recommended should not exceed 250 degrees C. Now, I've been using this around the 200 degrees, and for any length of time, the fumes that come off of the plastic and everything as the whole thing heats up is pretty noxious. It's pretty unpleasant. You would not want to be using this for any length of time in a workshop environment. The metal layer here is so thin. As soon as you put anything on it, the heat is sucked out of it very quickly. This is quite slow to heat up, and it doesn't respond very quickly to any heat loss. Just going back to the cost, just so we've got an idea. I mean, it was $28.60. So I've gone straight back to my massive heater, which heats up really quickly, and I'm talking 10-15 seconds, and this is untouchable. Again, similar to 100-ish degrees, which is what I need, but plonk something on there and the heat is not sucked out of the plate because there's just too much metal plate that's at the correct temperature. So yeah, just bear in mind the smell you're going to get off of this if you use it for any length of time at 200 degrees, or probably lower to be fair. Forget using it at 350, you're just going to end up with a molten mass. They say this is 3D printed without lines, without layer lines. I don't quite know how they've done that, or what material that is, because obviously it can cope with quite high temperatures. So yeah, great hobbyist DIY, preheating a tiny little circuit board to reflow a chip or whatever, perfect. Workshop, no, not so good.